Good evening and welcome to Girlfriend Minute. I am Shar.
And I'm Pascal.
How are you this evening, Pascal?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Sunday night.
Good. Yes. Another world record. It's 10:30.
It's 10:30. It's a Sunday night. I know.
Yeah, not too bad. We're doing good so far. Getting better. Each week, we get a little bit better. But that's
right?
good.
Work in progress. Work in progress.
Absolutely.
How was work today?
Work was good, actually. We were busy. We were pretty steady. And it was a beautiful day. Sunshine, about 62.
My air conditioner's back on in Florida, just FYI.
I know.
It was a beautiful Sunday day. People were out in their boats and at the beach. What are you doing? And I'm not joking because people were posting. I thought, isn't that Gulf water still cold? I didn't check my app, but it can't be even 70 yet. I mean,
I don't know.
It takes a while for all that water to heat up. So
absolutely.
I mean, last weekend was rainy, so we've only had a few days of sun, and I know my pool water has to be cold. So
yeah. Well, we're just happy that it gets sunny and it gets at the right temperature that we can sit outside for 5 minutes.
Meantime, in Florida, they have their bikinis on.
Exactly. I hate you guys.
I didn't.
Okay.
I was doing yard work and a little bit of everything. So yeah.
There you go.
It was very warmish, so it was nice. It was beautiful though. So it wasn't the big humid heat, that we will soon have in a few weeks. So yeah. But our winter is officially over.
Yeah. Yours is quick.
All 5 days of it. And the 2 days of spring, they're gone. That's it.
Us. Yeah. We still got a couple months.
Really?
Yes. We got at least until the end of April. Sometimes the middle of April. It all depends. Even though they say spring, it's really not spring. They lie.
Not for you.
No, not for us.
It's pre-summer here.
Yeah, I know. It's nice over there. At this time, it's nice over there because you can sit outside if you wanted to in the evening, like on a weekend, and have a little fire pit going.
Yeah, I do. I almost ordered a new fire pit. I need to do that. I was going to and kind of slacked off. But yeah, this is actually one of my favorite times of the year. And then, our fall, which is a few days before winter. That's the other favorite time. Right. Yeah. So, but it's nice out. So that means it's almost jet ski weather when you're coming down.
Yeah, right away. I think we're all going to come down.
Are you?
Yeah, we'll just close up shop and come down. Why not?
Why not?
We owe it to ourselves, right?
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
I have PTO. Let's go.
All right. I'll let you know.
Okay. Well.
Okay. Of course.
I'm here.
All right. We're going to do it.
We're recording for the second time in 24 hours.
Yes.
And we're going to talk about a sensitive subject. I guess they say trigger warning. It's a sensitive subject for people who don't like to talk about sensitive things or hear about sensitive things or real world things or whatever you consider a trigger warning for yourself. We're going to talk about female circumcision. Right?
Right.
And you have a friend on that is going to talk about it as her personal experience. I did do a very little bit of research on it. I just was, curious like everyone else. And when I Googled it, it said female genitalia mutilation, also known as female genitalia cutting. Female genitalia mutilation, cutting, and other female circumcision is the ritual of cutting or removal of some or all of the vulva. The practice is found in some countries of Africa, Asia, and other Middle East. As of 2023, UNICEF estimates that there's at least 200 million girls in 31 countries, including Indonesia, Iraq, Yemen, and 27 African countries, including Egypt, had been subjected to one or more types of female genitalia mutilation. Age it happens is days after birth to puberty. And I just can't say
Correct.
how horrific that has to be.
Well, hence the word mutilation.
Oh yeah, no, I mean,
Not a
I
good
just,
term.
until I saw that one American model, I believe she was from Africa,
Hmm.
who talked about it and it being done to her, I had never heard of such a thing. And I think
Yeah.
she was like on Oprah or Ellen DeGeneres or something like that years ago.
Hmm.
And I just don't understand how that's allowed.
Yeah,
Cultural
I
or
don't know.
not, I don't understand how that's allowed.
I don't know either, but I think it has, um, well, it's not a religion thing. So I could tell you
No,
that right off the bat.
it's
It's
not
more of a
a
cultural thing,
cultural
and
thing.
that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
I don't
actually,
get that.
the
I
guest that
just
we have on today is the actually first person that I've ever met that has gone through it. I've read about it and I've seen videos and I've seen documentaries and stuff about it, but I never actually ran into an actual person. And this is the first time that
well,
I
you
knew
know,
someone.
I, me either. I mean, you wouldn't typically run into, I mean, how do you have that conversation? I
Well,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
it's yeah, it
Just
just,
until you get to know someone, you
yeah,
know. I've gotten to
absolutely.
know like a lot of people from Africa and those parts of the area,
Hmm.
and I've never actually ran into anybody, or the subject has never come
Never
up
come
with
up.
those peoples.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So,
this evening we have Iman here. She is a longtime friend of mine for, I don't know, 16 years?
Yeah.
Yeah,
how
16
many
years.
years?
Say hello, Iman. 16.
16.
Hello.
Hi.
Nice to finally meet you.
Thank you. Same here.
Thank you.
So, I'm going to tell you first about my experience on the FGM, as they say in the US.
Yes.
So, actually, I had it done when I was in fifth grade. So, about 9 years old. And I remember the day, it was me and my cousin. So mom, said we're going out, and we did. We went to a doctor office. They gave us orange juice, and then I woke up crying from the pain. I didn't know what happened. Um,
So she didn't warn you.
No, of course. I mean, it's a traditional thing in Egypt. For girls, they usually had it done when they're about 9 and 10. You know. Um,
That's
so
on a normal basis,
yes,
usually between
yes,
those ages.
yeah. And actually, then there is a celebration that, yeah, you do in the house, and then the closest family, friends would come and congratulate you that, you had your girls done the FGM. So I didn't really know what was going on. I remember the pain. I didn't know the reason. It wasn't explained. Uh, I remember here in the US when I started talking to Pascal about it, I was admitted in emergency, and then one of the nurses, uh, she talked to me personally, and she asked me what have happened. Like, um,
Because she had to give you a catheter, right?
yes. And I was like, I'm Egyptian, so I was circumcised, and she was really in shock, and she told me it's torture. I am sorry for what you had to go through.
Yeah.
So just a little background on Iman. Iman is actually half Egyptian and half Sudanese. So actually both countries do the circumcision. Um, and her mom, I'm assuming, also had it,
Of
correct?
course, of
And
course.
then your grandmother.
Yes.
And this is why it continued.
Yes.
So her mom took her to get it done, but then when it was time for her sister to go, her dad stopped it and said, "We're not going to do that."
Yeah, at the time, a lot of girls would die during the procedure of bleeding out or
Oh, good grief.
getting some kind of infection. Because, like, for me, it was done at a doctor office, but most of the cases, um, it will be done at their own home.
Oh gosh.
And whoever would do the procedure is not even a doctor. It
I
can
mean,
be.
you were pretty lucky to actually have gone to the hospital.
That's correct.
As far as lucky goes, whatever that term means.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So,
So,
several questions. I was wondering how they told you this is going to be done because at age 8 or 9, I know I was a tomboy. Sex, I don't even know what that is. Here in the U.S., I didn't know what that was. I was
yes.
out playing in the dirt. I had no clue as to.
Same
So,
here. Same
yeah.
here.
So having that done to your child and drugging her essentially, and then you not understanding what's happening or why, as a parent, I could never do that. I'm
Did
sorry.
they tell you after the fact?
I'm sorry.
Did your mom explain it to you after?
No, she didn't. She was, of course, taking care of me and following the doctor requests for how to clean it and how to deal with it. Uh, the thing in Egypt, it's as Pascal said, my mom had it done, her mom had it done, so it's something that it's a must. It's a shame at this time if you didn't do that for your girls.
I understand that, but your dad stood up for your sister and stopped it.
Yes.
And I'm sure at some point in your parents' relationship, there was a conversation where he has said this will ruin her for life as far as sex goes, correct? I mean, parent
No,
to parent,
actually.
or he just let it happen.
No.
And then, I mean, I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't know.
See,
So in the Middle Eastern culture, sex is never brought up to your children. You do not talk about it. You do not discuss it. It's shameful to discuss. So it was never talked about.
Okay. Well, that's, no one
I,
talked about anything in my family either. But I was very different with my kids. I drove them crazy.
I know.
Like, we don't bring home no babies. We're not making babies. We're not doing this stuff. There's ways to prevent that, because kids are going to do what kids are going to do no matter what mom and dad say. So,
Right.
eventually you have to just handle the facts whether you want to or not. It's like, what made him say no for your sister and not say no for you, knowing how it affected his wife? I understand the cycle and all of that, but I don't understand why
I, I don't think he did understand that it affected my mom. Because to them, it's a natural thing that all women are. So they don't really, um, I don't know how to say it, but yeah, I don't
it's a
think he would.
common practice and it's known in that culture, so most men know to expect that.
Actually, yes. And here is a surprise too. Some men, a lot actually, would refuse to marry a girl that haven't had a circumcision.
So is that the same as a woman refusing to have not be with a circumcised man? Does that ever happen? No.
No.
Does that ever happen?
Here's why these females are getting circumcised. So in the culture, it is that they are basically attempting to control the woman's sexuality and keep her pure for when she is married. So if you don't have that piece of you, you're supposedly not going to feel any need or wants when you hit puberty for sex. And so when they take that away, they feel in their mind, and here we go, because who created it? Men, of course.
Correct.
And they feel in their mind that they are controlling. So if you don't have those needs or wants, or you're not feeling them, you're not going to want to have sex. So you remain a virgin until you get married.
Yeah, but that ruins it for her forever.
Unfortunately, it does.
And they don't think that way. They don't think
they don't care about that.
She's going to miss out on that. Well, I know I get that, but just even medically, I mean, like, you know, working in the medical field, you know,
I know it's sad. Well, in 2008, they created a law that it's illegal to circumcise girls in Egypt, even though after the law, people are still doing it in their homes or at a doctor office without, you know, like for example, if I take my own daughter to a doctor to circumcise her and it's illegal, if anything happened to her, I wouldn't go to the police because
it's illegal.
Exactly.
And you would face the repercussions of that.
Exactly.
Well, it's no different than abortion in America.
That's right.
It is no different. You cannot. Yeah. They give herbs. They have, what do they call them? Back alley abortions, or clothes hanger abortions and stuff. Yeah. Overturning Roe versus Wade doesn't change the fact that women are going to leave the state and go get abortions, because some men have decided, if you don't want an abortion, guess what? Don't get one. You know, no one's forcing you. Now your situation is very different though. And of course, there's always a way around any of the laws anywhere at any time, you know, with any of that stuff, you know, and it would be unfortunate that someone would have to die, an innocent kid who doesn't understand what's happening to them.
Yes.
For anyone to have attention to it. I mean, how are you not angry at your mother?
I am not angry, maybe because at the time all my friends in school or all the girls in the family had the same procedure. I did not have a knowledge about what's happening, and knowing that it was a good intention from my mom, not she didn't mean to hurt me. Not knowing, as I say, Egypt is one of the countries you don't talk about sex. I mean, until today. Yeah. So I don't think she had the information that it would hurt me.
But if she had the information, do you think she would still go with it or go with the tradition?
No, she wouldn't, because with my sister, when, you know, things start happening and a lot of girls are dying, and she was so scared, and she took the decision with my dad that they're not going to do it. Even though my grandma at the time, she wasn't happy with that decision. But
well, too bad for grandma. Well, no offense to your grandmother, but
in the culture, you look for your elders, because
it's very different there than here. Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, I
so
get it.
You look upon your elders, and it's like they almost rule the coop.
And it's hard for me to wrap my head around that, because I'm from Largo, Florida, and I'm pretty outspoken. Ain't no one touching my kids ever.
Right.
I agree.
You know, I just, you know, so it's, I understand, like, growing up as a kid, I would never know that this existed. I was too young. Again, I didn't know anything about sex until I don't even know what age when us kids started talking about it. Do you remember how old we were, Pascal? I don't even remember. I mean, I don't even remember.
You know, I only ever remember that one story about one of our classmates about the pregnancy thing, but that's it. Well,
yeah, it's so funny. I told you that.
What?
And she
that was in 8th grade.
We were seventh grade, because I went to our science teacher, Mrs. Urquhart, and I'm like, hey, you need to talk to what's her name here, because she thinks that this boy kissed her. She's pregnant now, and someone needs to have a talk with her, because she came into science class first period pretty upset.
Yes, she really was.
She really was. She was shocked and devastated. I'm like, that's not how that works. I'm like, I'll be right back. Got the teacher.
Yeah, because then, I got asked the same question, and how funny is that? Because we weren't in class together.
No, but I made a science teacher take her in back.
Yeah.
Chat with her.
So, but I think we did like a little bit of biology, a little bit of anatomy.
Sixth grade.
I think we kind of knew.
Sixth grade was the bigger talk, the health education talk.
Yeah.
I remember that. We had a class. It was health education, and they had a section on reproduction, and they weren't allowed to ever discuss abortion and certain things. It was very basic. This is how this works. This is what happens. You make this happen, and that type of thing. So,
it was only until high school where you actually learned about the actual conception and how to protect yourself and all of that stuff. So, but before that, no, I couldn't even remember.
Well, I
wasn't thinking about it like you. I wasn't thinking about it.
I didn't think about it. Mrs. Panzarella, was that her name?
Panzarelli, yeah.
She was very, she was like, you put the condom on it, boys.
Yeah, that's right. She took a banana and showed us.
And you guys are lucky you got some education in high school about it. We, back in Egypt, no. There's no
biology class?
There is a biology class, and I remember it's funny when it comes to studying the private areas. Yeah, the teachers will be so shy and would say, you read it at home, and if you have any question, you can come and ask. Right. So we didn't have any knowledge. There's no information about sexual diseases, how to protect yourself. There is none of that.
Yeah, and that's a shame, because this is a true case of where education is empowering.
Of course.
And, women can make better decisions about themselves health-wise. Parents can make better decisions about their children health-wise, and, this is one of the times where they need to be educated. Have you ever thought about in your country doing something to start some kind of movement to educate women, to educate young girls, to talk about it?
I would love to. I actually went back to Egypt last year, and I have lived in the U.S. since I was 17. So sometime when I bring subjects that has anything with sexuality, or I get those looks like you need to stop. Yes.
Well, that's funny, because the girl I go to that waxes my legs, she's Egyptian. Oh. And and so now I have something to talk to her about. But anyways,
yes.
it's very funny, because she's always so scared of everything for her daughters. And I'm like, then why did you come here and raise them? Right. You educate them to make the best choices for themselves. Ultimately, because she's like, no, we don't do anything. I don't want her going to the school dance. I don't want her. So you brought her here. You're raising them here.
Yes.
If you didn't want to do these things and have these experiences or have a better life or a different life, then why are you here? Yes. Not that America's all that. Don't get me wrong. We have work to do. But, I mean, Yeah, that's
Part
a whole
of
different
that,
topic. That's a whole
well,
different.
part of that, like going to dances and going for sleepovers and things like that, that's actually a part of religion. That is not just a cultural thing. It's a
Mhm.
mix of both. It's mix of now. Iman is Muslim. I'm a Christian. Okay. To us, obviously, it doesn't matter. She's my friend. I'm her friend. It's all the same. I look at a person and how they treat me.
Correct.
But when it comes to religion, there are some fanatics in every religion. It's not
Correct.
just in the Muslim or in Christianity. It's
That's right.
throughout.
Absolutely.
So a lot of that, uh, even if we come to America, our home life is still our cultured life.
And this
I
culture is a very strong thing. It's really hard to get people to change when it's a culture thing.
yeah. I do understand that, but you had to know that when coming here, it was going to change how they see the world.
They do, but
It
that
does.
doesn't matter to them.
But here's the
Yes.
problem. Their oldest daughter is now not speaking to their father, and she's in her first year of college. And the
Mhm.
That's a
mother's
normal thing.
it's the mother's losing
Unfortunately.
sleep. And I said, well, maybe they need some space. Maybe it's good she's away at college. I mean, she's just over on the other side of Tampa. I mean, she's not too far away, but she's still away. And it's she ran away at one point, and it's just that they're butting heads. So it's like at some point, why
So
not
the
have
mom,
the
is she
mom's
a little
stuck
bit
in the
more
middle.
open?
No, she's scared of everything.
Oh,
She's the one
shit.
that's scared of everything. And if the dad makes any kind of rule, the oldest isn't now talking to the dad. And it's created a lot of stress and tension. And it's like, then maybe you all need to have a conversation. And you have to realize she's going to do what she wants to do, no matter where you live.
Exactly. Well, you know what made their problem bigger, I believe? It's because they're girls. If it was boys, then it's okay.
They could go do
Yeah.
whatever they want.
Exactly.
She said that, like, her brothers were allowed to do whatever they wanted, and she was always in the house and always a caretaker of
Yeah.
having
correct.
the chores and stuff like that.
Yes.
And I'm like, but you're here. So when you come here, you have to adapt to here. I mean, if I moved to a different country, I would have to adapt to some of that as
course.
well, because I don't expect y'all to change your ways just for one little me. you know I have to learn the language. I have to learn, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you came here to raise them because you wanted something different for them, especially being girls. What did you expect to happen?
Well, there's a limit. Yes. We came here and we wanted to be in America because there was war or famine or whatever the case was. Each scenario is different. But when it comes to raising your children in a Middle Eastern culture, there is also a lack of communication between the parents and the children. And the reason why is because you were taught at a young age to basically do everything that your parents told you. And if you didn't, you were ashamed for doing that. And hence probably why this girl doesn't talk to her father, because he probably thinks that it's a shame for whatever it is that they fought about. And she's not talking to him because she doesn't think it's right. He's not talking to her because she's bringing shame to the family. And in the Middle Eastern culture, it's not about your family. It's about everyone else around you.
Yes.
Unfortunately.
Well, they need
That's
to
the
stop
unfortunate
that,
part.
because
Well,
your
through the
relationship with
years.
your daughter doesn't matter about the guy down the road.
Right. And that's why I did not raise my daughter that way, because I'm just not doing it. I don't think it's right.
Well, I guess when I look at you and you talk about the culture of Pascal and how this was shameful and what you went through being a single mom and all that, I just think that more should be like that and be like, oh, well, it is what it is, and we're going to move forward and we're going to do this because we have to.
Yeah,
We're in this situation. We have to do this. I mean, she's here at college. She's living in a dorm. Is that allowed over in Egypt? Girls living in dorms?
Yes, but actually the dorms in Egypt, girls will be separate in a very separate building or separate area.
Well,
There's
in
no
theory, they
girls
are
and
here
boys.
too.
Yes, yes, I'm
In theory.
sorry.
No, in theory. Doesn't mean they stay separate.
Yes,
But
but
they're in a totally separate building. Like
Yeah.
here, you can have a building, but
You
the
can
right
have
side will
a
be
building
boys
that's
and the
half
left
and
side will
half.
be
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
over there, no. It's one
No.
building dedicated to just females and
Gotcha.
another building dedicated to just males.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
yeah,
So, I mean, it's unfortunate that way, but Lebanese culture is a little bit different than Egyptian culture.
Mhm.
And I think religion kind of plays,
of course.
yeah.
I
So
agree.
religion kind of plays a part in that. As far as like my side, I'm not going to say we are more open, but we would allow more things versus if you went to Egypt in the Muslim religion.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
So for you, having had this procedure done, that's it for life, correct? There's
Yes.
nothing anyone can do to
There's
help
no
make that
going
any
back.
better for you. There's nothing in this
No,
day and age
unfortunately.
well, if you think about it, it's like basically cutting a male's penis off. Think about
Well,
it.
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, is there anyone that can help?
Can you make a fake one?
Don't ask, because we got people jumping fences left and right. So whatever. I'm not sure how that works, but and it's not to make fun of any of that. It's just I don't know. I'm so baffled that, because even at your age now, and you said there was no education and no knowledge and no one talked back then, but now it's now, and now you can be like, hey, you kind of screwed me up for life in that sense. I would be, because I'm that way. I'd be like, listen, don't appreciate you all deciding my future without even me knowing what's going on and why at such a young age. Once I started thinking about it.
Let me tell you that my mom said, if I got girls, to never do that to them, don't even go through the danger and all that. And it was kind of a mix up in Egypt. Some people were thinking it's a Muslim religion. Uh, it's in the book to get girls circumcised, but actually it's not. It has nothing to do with Quran. It was just some guys on TV was saying that, oh, you must do that to girls. It's in the book. This is what God wants, which is not true. And then people know it has nothing to do with religion, and it it's a not safe thing to do, and they are still doing it.
I
And
saw that
that's
online. Yeah.
yes,
I find that.
especially in Upper Egypt and those areas where a lot of them are not educated, yeah, it's very sad.
It is sad. It is sad because it's uneducated. Decisions being
Exactly.
continued on without being
It's
fully educated. And that's why it's like, you're here. So is there anything maybe you could even do online that could get posted, and you could reach out to people over there and kind of spread the word or something?
I would love to. I mean,
Yeah.
talking about it to Pascal years ago, and I, to me, I was like really surprised that I'm talking about it. I have a voice,
You do have a
and
voice, my dear, and you're educating people when you talk about it.
Exactly.
You are.
But
And it's
I
not
would
an
love
easy thing to
to.
talk about, I would imagine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would love to educate um, ladies in Egypt not to do that to their girls. Just leave them the way God created them.
Correct.
And it's, I would call it's a discrimination, some kind of discrimination,
I would agree with you, because we function, all of us, men and women, for a certain reason. We're created this way.
Hmm.
And some human person came along with some ego
Yes.
and was like, yeah, we're going to change this. I don't know if you've ever looked, if you're on Facebook, if you've ever looked on Facebook to see if there is a page for that type of thing, or if you could create one. And if you know people over in Egypt, and just kind of, that's how things happen. You just
You're
kind
right.
of,
You're right.
if it was me, I definitely would. I would try. I mean, you're not going to be out any money. It's just your time.
I would love to.
You know.
Actually, I'm gonna look into that because you really did give me the, like the
Well,
encouragement.
I mean, I would want to, like, if I was in your shoes, I would want to educate and get it out there and tell women, hey, you don't have to do
Yes.
this. This is not in any book of any kind. This
Yes.
was, figure out when it started, Google that, and this guy, and educate them, because it's barbaric.
It is.
It's awful. I mean, to drug your child and she wake up in this pain that is like, what the heck happened to me? And I've had two children with no drugs. I can't even imagine. I can't even
let
imagine.
me tell you, again, as Pascal said, I was lucky somehow that I was drugged or whatever
yeah.
it was, anesthesia or whatever. A lot of girls are going through this with no anesthesia, feeling everything. You have people holding you down when you are 9 years old, and just touching you and cutting you, and you don't know anything. I mean,
That's very traumatic. That's like
is,
PTSD
I can't even
stuff.
imagine. Yes.
Yes.
Literally like PTSD stuff.
Oh,
So then when you get
nightmares.
when you get married,
Oh.
then what? So here's your husband who's going to touch you for the first time because you're a virgin, and then you've been already touched before in not a good way.
Well, exactly.
Touch you.
Exactly.
Why would you want to get married at that point? Well, no, I mean, whatever. But it'd be like,
that's
I'd be
what you're
thinking
supposed
about
to
it.
do.
Yes.
I'd be thinking about it. I'd be like, well, wait a minute. The last guy that touched me,
Yeah.
It's the circle of life, to the people who get female circumcision done. It's just something that you're supposed to do. You live through your life, and that's it. Don't ask questions. Fortunately.
And what also I found concerning was the verbiage. Where is it? One or more of these types.
Yes.
How many types are there?
There are three.
There are three types. The first type is just cutting the clitoris off. The second type would be cutting the clitoris and then the two pieces on each side of it, halfway. The third would be to cut the whole thing around. And then the way they would sew you up is very traumatic too, because think about it. It's almost like they close your entire vaginal hole up.
Yeah, so here it's,
or they come close to it.
The clitoral hood, the clitoral glands, and the inner labia.
Yes. That's what's cut off.
And the vagina is open for intercourse and open further for child
do you know
growth.
which one you have?
I actually don't. I'm pretty sure I didn't have type 3, but I'm not sure if it's 1 or 2. I don't even know.
Okay, so I'm sure our guests are going to probably wondering about your sexuality when it comes to being with a male.
Mhm.
And so, like, I don't know, how does it feel? What does it feel like? Does it feel like anything?
To me personally, I would say I do have a desire for sex, but it would really take some long time to even reach
The finish line.
yes, definitely.
We'll just call it the finish line.
Yes.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I
Well,
I asked people, my friends that have it done and they're married and how they are in their life and did that affect actually they did say yes. It did affect them.
So basically, they're not having any pleasure out of having sex
Uh,
at a
yes,
certain point.
exactly.
Or
Right.
they would have to tell their partner that they would need a little bit more time.
Right, which is very rare because again, Egyptians we're not allowed to talk about sex, especially females, even to your husband,
even to your husband.
even to your husband.
They need some education, my dear.
Always
They need to.
same to talk about anything that has to do with sex life, even if it's educational. It's always, they don't talk about that.
Well,
So out
and
of your friends
Mm.
that you've talked to that have had this, what percentage would you say that either it affected them or they couldn't talk with their husbands about
Yeah, almost all of them.
almost all of them?
Yes.
so even though they're married and the husband knows that this has happened to them or was done to them, and they
Yes.
probably support all of that, there's no conversation.
No.
So basically, they just go through
They just lay there.
whatever. They just lay there, yeah.
Yeah, kind of. You actually follow your husband needs.
Oh, good
It's
God.
all about him mostly. Yeah, it's all
Okay.
about the man always.
Well, yeah, I know, but you need to start a group. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Right?
I will
Yeah.
come there and stay for a while and help you start the group. I can't.
Yeah,
I just,
it's
Well,
yeah.
there have been groups that have been started by other women, and those women, of course, have been looked down upon because they're like,
She's
well, why
here
are
in
you
the
changing
US.
something? Yeah.
She,
Well, it's different in the U.S., but I'm saying
Yeah.
overseas.
well, she's going to
There
send it
are
overseas.
women who's
But she's here.
gonna throw it over.
Yeah, I would imagine. I would imagine. And as a parent too, when they have wives don't talk to wives over there. I mean, there's
You
no
know,
conversation about, hey, I have to go take my daughter to have this orange juice and then she's going to have this procedure done. I mean, is there any?
They do, but you can't go against them. You
yeah.
can't go against your husband.
And if you
Or
went against your
the-
husband, what happens?
That's a good question. I don't
I
know.
know, right?
Yeah.
Uh,
So no
I
one's
mean,
gone
it
against.
can
Never
it
come to
can
that.
it can reach divorce.
It can reach divorce.
Yes.
Yeah, it can reach to a lot of problems in the
It
marriage.
posed a lot of trauma, lots of stress.
Probably
For sure.
abuse. Probably
So-
abuse.
I've been married for 30 and a half years.
Uh,
That's a long, it's a long time not to kill someone. Anyways.
Aw. I
Just
mean it in
kidding.
a good way.
If it ever came to that, again, born and raised here, but if my mindset is the way that it is, wherever I was, or I was having questions, or I'm a person that questions things. So I'd like to think that no matter where I was, I would question things. I'd get the divorce and I'd be okay with that versus traumatizing my child and ruining her for life. I mean, I would.
You
I'm
would,
good.
but you would also be looked as shameful
When
for
I'm
you
doing that.
moving my ass to the
it's
United States and calling it a day.
see, maybe if you live in in if you live there in Egypt,
Oh,
then
I'm
you're
sure.
surrounded by this society that
That same
strongly agree and
mentality.
think that it's a must. It's a lot of stress on you if you're different, lots of pressure, and you'll be looked down at, and it's not easy. Even though
No, I would imagine
some
it's not.
parents now are facing that, and that's a big bravo for them. But it is so difficult
I mean,
there.
I would imagine it is, and I guess, again, I'm born and raised here, so I just think someone's got to be the change.
You're
That's my
right.
mentality. Someone's got to be
You're
the
right.
change, and
Well, they've been
until,
trying to change it for a long time
It's
since
the
well,
people
it needs to be
now.
enough women that stand up and say I don't care.
and that's the problem.
Yes,
Yes, that's what the change is. It's not what
because
some guy
as
writes in
far
a
as
law book that they can't enforce.
exactly, as far as the law, it's illegal. It's a crime. As far as religion, they said this has nothing to do with religion. So it's a culture that people hold on into just because you want to be the same. You don't want the neighbors to talk about you or about your kids, or it's just
Well, it makes me wonder who was the man that decided this?
yeah, I'm
So,
really wondering right now.
okay,
We're gonna
so
Google it.
yeah, so this was actually they don't know the exact time
Mhm.
when female FGM, we'll call it, but they have said that ancient Egypt, which is present day Sudan and Egypt, was the site of the origin, and that it was around 5th century BC is when
Yeah.
all of this started. But
Ancient
maybe
Egypt
did you
and
find who it
Sudan.
was?
Ancient Egypt and Sudan. Who was the model?
For female circumcision?
Oh, yeah, the model was an actual model, who had
Oh,
it.
okay. But there isn't anybody or anybody in particular that they actually named
No,
that
it just
actually
says
started it.
male circumcision is the oldest known human surgical procedure with historical records and archaeological evidence dating the practice back to ancient Egyptians in the 23rd century. That's talking about male circumcision, nothing on female there. Ancient Egyptian empires.
Yeah.
Pharaohs. Who's that?
Somalia, Egypt, Sudan, yeah. Ethiopia.
Yeah, there's really nothing about it. And I was actually pre-Islamic.
So it's been going on for a long, long time, and there's
It's like
no
a
name
chastity
associated
belt.
to it. Pardon me?
Chastity belt. But I think the
Oh,
belt would
yes.
have been better.
Yeah, just throw one of those on them.
Unfortunately. Yeah.
I am right. If you're so insistent on, because I just don't think that cutting or removing that has anything to do with desire of having sex. It's just like I don't think only
Me
having
too.
hormones has anything to do with the desire of having sex. Because I have patients in their 70s who are calling in going, it hurts when I have intercourse. And I'm like, how old are you?
Right?
78? Oh, good for you, girl. Right? So, I think there's a lot of things that go into play for that. But I think it would be really, I would definitely feel robbed.
You feel like that?
I do.
You do.
Yeah, I
I
would
do.
imagine it would be hard because sex isn't just for having babies.
You're right.
It's a very intimate process.
It's a very
you
intimate process. So that I'm shocked that even husbands and wives can't talk about it amongst themselves in the bedroom, because it's a very intimate process. And if you can't discuss it.
The man.
Oh God.
I know, I'm sorry.
It's probably a good thing I wasn't born there.
Yeah, probably.
Be one of those jails.
Oh my God.
And someone to
I hate
rescue
to say
me.
it, but they would probably kill you.
Yeah, I would probably agree.
Yeah.
The only way to shut her up.
I'm laughing, but it's not funny.
But
yeah,
no, it's not. But I'm joking about me. Is the only way to shut her up would be. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I am so sorry that was done to you. I really am. I wish more women would educate themselves, because knowledge is power. And as long as women, like, here, we didn't have the right to drive. Oh my God, a woman's wearing pants back in the day. Remember all that crap?
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, now look what we wear. It's not always good. Progress is not always good, by the way. We don't need to see your butt cheeks, but that's a whole other topic. But and the fact that it's in 2023, at least 200 million girls. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah,
2023 was a few months ago.
Yeah.
And now parents, it's known that this procedure would harm your girls.
And they still do it.
And they still do it. It's a culture. You don't want to be talked about on the neighborhood, or your girls are not getting married because they're not circumcised.
So is that something you have to disclose to the future husband?
If you're not in Egypt, I believe so, because expected that you are circumcised. So there is some cases that were not circumcised and got married, and when they went home and the husband saw, he would force his wife to go be circumcised.
Oh my.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Can we have an annulment?
Yeah.
I'm done. Wow. And again, why is it everyone's business to know if your child's been circumcised or not?
Because the families are the ones that discuss the marriage for their daughter or their son.
So they're all arranged marriages?
No.
It's not arranged.
It's not arranged.
It's the tradition that you go ask the parents to marry their daughter.
It's like here when you go and the man will ask the father.
Xavier asked me and Jim if he could marry Brooke. Yes. And
except
we didn't talk about it.
Right. Except that now once he asks, because let's say he knows Iman from school or from university or from somewhere, he likes her, he asked the dad, everything was fine. Now it's the parents' turn to sit and talk with each other about what's going to happen with their son or daughter. So you basically don't really have that much control either over your marriage when you get married.
Oh.
Yeah, yes. Your marriage is the whole family business.
Is involved. Yeah.
The whole family is involved.
And it's usually the maternal side on the girl's side. The guy now is the one that'll ask for the dowry, or that will ask, what are we trading or what are we doing? Stuff
There's
like that.
There's still a dowry?
Is it still a dowry? Like where they pay money for you. But
Yeah.
Like jewelry, like they would buy jewelry. Yeah.
So the parents would ask the guy,
the groom's parents,
to, for example, buy her gold for like 50,000 pounds, buy an apartment and put it under her name.
It's
By
very specific.
Yes, and
Very
they write it on a piece of paper. It's like an agreement that
And both sides have to sign it.
yes,
They both have to be in agreement to whatever they agree upon.
yes.
And
So
this still
this is what I buy. Here is what I buy. Even though when they're getting the house ready, yeah, everything is written.
So that's a little bit different than Lebanese Christians. Slightly different in the way that, yes, he has to have a house already for you to be able to provide for you. But there's no amount that is set in stone that each side has to agree upon. It is just known that you're going to have an engagement party, and at that party, then the groom side will give gold to the girl. That's just traditional, something traditional. But it's not a specific amount. It's not like I'm buying her or anything like that. So it's a little different for Lebanese culture.
Does this stuff still happen today?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tradition.
It doesn't matter what year it is. It's traditions that are carried on from centuries.
And no one breaks it to this day.
No one dare break it.
Even if you do, no one would know because you're not going to talk about it to anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a whole different
I
culture.
know.
It's a whole different world.
I thought the women in the Middle East are so violated and discriminated, but I started reading about women in other countries, like in India, Somal. There is worse than that. This is not the worst. Egypt is not the worst.
So it was not so long ago that the women in Saudi Arabia couldn't even drive. It's just recently, a couple years back, where they were like, okay, you guys can know how to drive now. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what year it is.
Yeah, we're in 2023 and women are discriminated in a lot of countries.
It's sad, really, when you think about it.
Well, it is sad. I mean, and of course, men come along and joke and be like, well, they're men. So, anyways, it is sad because I tell people we've all had to fight for our right. I have a shirt that celebrates 100 years of women being allowed to vote in the United States.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a few years ago, and I wore it to the voting polls. I mean, we're capable of so many things besides just laying there for you. I'm sorry.
Right. I agree.
I mean,
we're not a piece of meat, we have lots of other attributes to give to a marriage or a relationship or anything like that. And it should be talked about. I mean, communication should be key, but that's how they control you. They control you because there is no communication. So if there's nobody talking about it, don't go against it. What are you going to do? You're going to follow it.
Yeah, nothing changes.
Nothing changes, and it continues for years.
It continues for years.
Yeah.
And years. And in this case, it seems to be hundreds of years, centuries.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's funny when we Google it, I can't find anybody for a specific area or specific name.
I know. I Google.
Yeah, it's not.
Now I'm on a mission. Somewhere. Someone has to know something. Somewhere. It's just a matter of finding it. So that's I don't even know. I think because she has lived through it and that's her memory of it, that she definitely should start some kind of Facebook page and network it and get it growing for anybody.
Yeah.
That is the only way to educate. I mean, I would follow it, Pascal, other people, and it just would grow, and then you get it going over there too, and because I think it would be interesting and fascinating.
And then take it
Well,
over.
yeah, she's got to start it here, and then if she knows people over there, just
great
send out
idea.
are they allowed to Facebook? You could send out the friend requests,
Yeah,
you know, and this is an educational page.
Yes.
This is about trying to make a difference in young girls' lives. You
I bet
know,
you there's probably already a group or something.
Of course, I
is
bet.
there.
Yeah.
Are available in whatever area in Egypt, probably in Cairo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most likely
Mostly in Cairo. Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be.
Well, there's a mixture of religions between her country and my country. So there's some Muslims, some Orthodox, some Catholic Christians. Same thing with my country. But,
So there's
you know,
two groups. One is Stop Female Circumcision.
mhm.
I'm going to assume that's like, can you see it?
Yeah. Is that Turkish or Indian?
This is
Turkish
this
maybe or
page.
Indian, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and then the other one
Urdu.
is.
Yeah, I believe
Probably
so.
Urdu.
Okay.
I don't know where that one's at. Does it say?
There are groups around the
Yeah, it
world.
says
It's
what
just-
many women don't know what they're going in for the procedure for. So this is, I Googled it on Facebook, or I looked it up on Facebook, and only two populated. Those
Yeah.
two I
Okay.
just showed you. So you have to know somebody, and then children are circumcised because they can't say no. But you have to know somebody, and you have to get the word out, and you have to do it somehow where you can get the word out. I mean, not just Facebook. Maybe do little chats on TikTok or something. I don't know, but there's got to be a way to reach it over there. I mean, I would just network out to people I knew and see if they would share it and go from there. I mean,
Right.
because education is power, and this is one of the circumstances in where that really is very true. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not going to change. I don't know how anyone doesn't look at the procedure as shameful versus as to
Yeah.
not having it done being shameful. I just, you know, you're deciding for a kid who's 8 who doesn't even know what sex is and what those parts are and what
the
they
thing.
do, and you're marking her for life.
For life.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I just wow, you know, they drugged you and took you. I just, oh.
Oh, but they gave her a fruit.
Yeah.
First.
Actually, yeah. It was at the doctor office that the nurse gave us the orange juice.
Yeah, and so
Yeah.
you know, you're going there without knowledge why. No one
Of
told you
course.
why. You're
No.
given this yummy fruit juice, and then you wake up in horrific pain. I mean,
Yeah.
I just can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
And
It's
God, how long does that take to heal? I just,
about 10 days.
really? That's it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, if somebody's taking care
Of
it
course.
properly, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
Don't forget,
But if-
again, I had mine done in a doctor office. That's,
That's an advantage to others.
Yes. Yes.
So basically, I've had it down a back alley where there is no cleanliness. And hence they get an infection, and then the girls die.
Well, yeah, that's like with the back alley abortions. Well, the Christian
Yeah.
people, you know, well, that serves them right that they die. Really? That's a Christian comment?
Right.
know,
It's
I mean,
not.
two
And who
wrongs
are
don't
you to
make a right.
judge?
Yeah, you're not,
Yeah.
you know, you're not in that person's shoes. But anyways, so I have a question. Are you married?
Yes. Actually, it's a little different in my country. So I am legally married, but there is no
There's no consummation yet.
until the wedding. Then after the wedding, then yeah.
So when's the wedding?
Well, it should be somewhere this end of summer. We
Okay.
didn't pick up the day yet, but yeah.
So, and he knows that this was done to you.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you
Okay.
talk to him about it?
I
Did he
do.
discuss
I
it?
do talk to him about stuff like that.
They're different.
Yeah. It's different to him because he's an Egyptian
Okay.
from Upper Egypt, but he seemed pretty open to discuss stuff with me, but just me and him.
Well,
yeah,
that's
of
it. It
course,
should
it's
be
not for
just you and
everybody.
him. It's not,
Yes.
yeah. I mean, there are
Yes.
definitely things that are just husband and wife, and you should be able to have whatever that is, whatever's
Yes.
going on daily, that
Mm,
conversation, let alone this. This is a big thing.
right.
This is a big thing,
Yeah.
Well,
So,
it is, because if not, I mean, when they finally consummate the marriage, he's going to end up finding out anyway.
Yeah.
But if he didn't care and he's just all about getting it in for himself, then it don't matter.
so funny. So funny, Pascal.
But it's the truth.
She's like, it don't matter. The look on your face.
But it don't matter. Because he's only thinking about getting it for him.
Well, most men are.
Well,
That is-
they are. You're right.
The
You're right.
majority are.
They are, yeah.
I mean, my gosh.
That's true.
They are. I mean, why else do it?
So rude. So selfish.
Yeah, right.
Seriously. I want to have fun too.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, except
Well,
for
that's
having
the
babies,
thing.
what's
What
the
can I
point?
feel?
At that point, it's like, I'm good.
Right.
You know?
And then after a while, you're like, just don't touch me anymore. Like, stay away
That's
from
true.
me.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Then you're like into the whole separate bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah. We're
You know,
just
back
living
in
as roommates.
back in the what days was it with Lucille Ball and her husband Ricky Ricardo, and they had the separate twin
With the
beds.
2 separate beds.
You weren't allowed to
And
show
then you
them in
wonder
the same
how
bed.
they made a kid.
Right? Osmosis.
Osmosis, yes. Just went through the air.
Like Rose and the Golden Girls, they were strong swimmers.
Yes, exactly.
In that one episode. The husband was
Never watched
deployed
The
and
Golden Girls?
No.
Oh, you should
oh,
watch The
watch
Golden
the
Girls.
Golden Girl. The husband was deployed and the wife somehow got pregnant. They're strong
Yeah.
swimmers.
Exactly. Magic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say or ask because I mean, we know how the sex is or what it means if you've had that done. Yeah, you're basically there for him.
Yeah.
You don't consummate the marriage until the actual wedding, but you're legally
Yes.
married. And this is done to young girls who absolutely have no idea as to why
Happening.
and what it means.
Mhm.
They just wake up and it's done.
Oh,
Yes.
some of them are unfortunately go the
But
other way.
I would like to think they're all drugged. To be honest.
Yeah, I would hope so. But the
I,
documentaries that I've seen,
I've
No.
I've not watched
Yeah.
any documentaries.
yeah, they're horrible.
Are they on
They're
Netflix?
terrible. No, this was a couple years ago that I watched them, and I can't remember where, but I think they were just on regular Comcast, where you look up whatever you want to watch. I'm sure you can look it up. It's probably on Netflix somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure, and I'm sure it's really educational, and I just kind of have to be in the mood to not get angry and
Well,
just
Right.
get through it. I get angry about certain things, and I'm just like, okay, I got to stop. So, yeah.
I agree with that one, especially.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
just
because they took all your rights away,
Yeah.
basically. It's
so
like
well,
you
women
have
don't apparently
no
have
voice.
rights. I mean, she has no
No.
voice over there and no rights over
No.
there. correct?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
I mean, what are women allowed to do over there?
I mean, you're allowed to drive. You work, you go to college, and again, it's different in the city than when you go toward the Upper Egypt. But I mean, even if the law gave you all those rights, you still facing discrimination on the street, at work, at just
Everywhere you go.
yeah,
Everyone knows. I
yeah,
just,
yeah. It's I think they got used to it and they just live through it.
I mean, for Christ's sake, some women, they go to work, they have to ride the bus when they get on the bus. This is a whole nother subject too.
Yeah.
But when they ride the bus,
Sexually
they get
harassed
sexually harassed. They get fondled
every single day.
every day. Every day.
oh my God.
By men who are basically pigs. And then you wonder, like, I don't know if you think about this, but then you wonder, like, how can I marry anybody
Right.
like this?
Right? I agree.
Well, yeah. I mean, when men go, I don't understand women and their point of views. And, well, you know,
Yeah.
you kind of earned it. Some of y'all kind of earned it,
Right.
Yeah.
you know. I mean, and I tell you what, I don't know who the doctor is doing this I couldn't be married to him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
then again,
it's
she doesn't
who
have
I
a
am.
voice, so.
She doesn't have a voice, but me being me, I'd be like, yeah, we're good, bye. You know? No, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, how can you do that to a human?
Yeah, it's terrible.
And I understand, and everyone keeps saying it's cultural, but still my brain goes to,
It's
I just,
wrong.
yeah, I guess, my
And there's
gosh.
no, like she said, like Iman said, like there's no reason for it.
No, there
It's
isn't.
not,
Yeah.
no, it's not like it's done because,
For non-medical reasons.
right.
No. Well, the reality is if you want to be a hoe, you can be a hoe. I don't care where you're at.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We were just talking about this
Right.
last night. Switzerland has the red light district. That's what that is.
Sure do.
You know,
Yeah.
every area, you know, here on the beaches we have hookers. I mean, it just, you know, it's, if you want to be that way or whatever you need to do, whatever it is you want to call it. Sorry to the hookers out there, but whatever, you know. You know,
Well,
you
and
do.
it's funny that you said that is because the people in the Middle East, anywhere, it doesn't matter what country it is, they're doing it too, but they're doing it behind closed doors and nobody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Hookers?
So, yeah.
Oh, well, they know it's being done. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
hookers and
'Cause that's how they get the
infidelity.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Hookers,
Well,
infidelity, all kinds of stuff.
Well, yeah, because no one talks. No one
No.
talks. Yeah.
It's like you're living back in, I don't know, the 1900s when we were born.
Excuse me? When who was born? What? No.
Weren't you born in the 1900s?
Not 1900. You're like,
No, but in
later,
1800s.
73 years later. 73 years later.
I know that sounds scary.
I
Yeah,
know.
but
Be a little
they're
gentle with your word
calling it.
choice.
No, but that's what they call us nowadays. They're telling
Yeah.
us we were born in the 1900s.
Yeah, kids those days will be saying that. Yeah.
I don't like the turn this has taken. Not caring for it at all.
Yeah, it's like it's
You know,
2024.
I
and
know.
We're still living back in the dark ages. You know, we're not advancing ourselves.
No, that's
when
exactly
we
why
should be.
she needs to. That's why I was telling her, like, if I was her and living over here and seeing it does take work, but you can be the voice that starts to change things.
Yeah.
And
You're right. Yeah.
save one girl from being taken to the doctor for orange juice and waking up in horrific pain. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's it takes somebody to start that and say it's not shameful and this is barbaric, and I don't care what the culture is. And, I was born there, I'm Egyptian and stuff, but I would never do this to my daughter. I mean, somebody's got to do it.
Wake up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I would.
Well, we have to advance ourselves. I mean, technology has, flown like sky high.
Oh my gosh,
But
yeah.
when it comes to culture and things and stuff like that, we're still living in the dark ages. Some countries are still back there, and that's
because no one takes that step to change it. They're all scared.
Well,
so let
Bob
down the road talk about you.
Well, and that's the thing. If
Who
you
cares?
get scared, well, Bob down the road here can say whatever the hell he wants, but tomorrow he's not going to die because he has his own opinion. But over there, you will, because you're going against everything.
Yeah, it's difficult when
But there has to be some girls that have not had that done to them over there.
Oh, of course.
So are they still alive? I mean,
they are.
Your sister, okay, so they're not necessarily dying.
No, they're not dying. It's
because everyone knows you didn't have it done, like what Pascal was saying. You're not going to die because, So, I mean, if there are girls like your sister, and I'm sure there's others like her that were spared that horrific event or whatever you call it,
right.
Someone's got to be the change. I can't help it. Someone's got to be the change.
Well, there's a fine line, unfortunately, with that change. It's either you're going to step up, but you have to really have lots of people to back you up. And if you don't have that, it's just going to
But she's got to know people. Like her sister and all of them can network and talk, and who has not had it done, and that be the group.
It could.
It's a good idea, yeah.
I mean, it's conversation. It's a little bit of work. But the work is talking.
Yeah.
I mean, it's there's got to be a way to get you guys together to start a group. So you start off strong.
There's some YouTube videos that I found prior to us talking right now, and they actually explain about the circumcision not being needed for any particular reason, and it's done for no reason at all. No reason at all.
And you're not going to stop them from having sex.
Correct.
You're just not. I mean, it depends on you as a person, but you're just not. And sex, I'm sorry, is a natural thing anyways. So to sit there and be like, you're not going to have sex. Well, okay, sure, dude. Okay. I mean, who put who in charge?
Right. Exactly.
I agree.
Exactly. What are you going to do?
You're going to start something. That's start to change.
Yes, definitely.
You got to start with one person, because that's the only way these things happen.
Yeah.
You hear the stories, the documentaries of people who did this, and no one believed them, and everyone talked about it, because gossip is gossip anywhere. It's here, it's everywhere. People talk, people don't mind their own business. It's human nature to be nosy, so and they kept going, and they were to change something. They changed something, they did something, they made a positive impact on something. I don't care if it's 5 girls a year you save from having that done to them. It's 5 girls.
Yes, that's right.
Their whole lives.
That's right. I'm sure they have a coalition out there, so
I'm
that's
really
a good
convinced.
But she's someone who has. It's not just someone on Facebook. She is someone who has experienced it, and she can tell her story, and that's the best educator of it all.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Didn't we say we were going to do this podcast to connect women and support women?
Yes. Yes, that's right. That's exactly what we're going to do.
I mean, and we also have a lot to say, so that helps.
Yeah.
Lots of opinions flying around.
We're such big mouths, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Iman. Yes, we appreciate you coming in and speaking on this very sensitive subject.
Thank you so much. My pleasure to be with you guys tonight, and I hope we get the word out
Yes.
somehow.
Well, we can do this again. You can also come
Yeah.
on. If you start a page, you can promote it. You can talk about it.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. I'm a big believer in that. It takes
Yeah.
time. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's a
Right.
possibility. But
Yeah.
the women need to be educated because there's so much more than just doing what the guy says or the husband says.
Exactly.
Saying, you
Exactly.
have to take our daughter. No,
Right.
yeah.
It's not
So
a must. There's nothing in this world that is a must. Unless you're bleeding out and you have to go have surgery, then that's a must. And that's it. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
You know.
But thanks again for joining us.
Thank
We
you so
Yes.
much,
appreciate it.
guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. It was nice
Um,
meeting you.
It was great meeting you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to us as usual. I hope this brought some education into some of your life. And maybe we can all start it together too. Leave some comments. If we can make it happen, we will make it happen 100%.
Yeah.
And please leave comments. Go ahead.
Effort. It will take an effort. It just.
Well, it takes.
It's a huge thing.
It is. Yeah. Yeah. It takes us all to be able to be together, to stand up for this. I don't believe anybody should be mutilated in whatever part of their body.
No.
So starting with the female circumcision, definitely that is something I don't agree with. Never agreed with, even watching the documentaries. But if you guys have any questions that you would like to ask Eman, please leave them below. We will discuss it with her and then get back to you. Also, if you have any other subjects that you want us to talk about, we will be more than happy to take those comments as well. And I'll turn it over to you.
So, as always, thank you for listening. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon, Samsung Podcast, Podcast Index, Listen Notes, Apple, Google, Pandora, TuneIn, iHeart, Deezer. We are on TikTok, YouTube, Patreon, Facebook, and Instagram.
Right. Find us. We're everywhere.
Yes, and you can message us at any platform, apparently. So
yes.
And we welcome questions and ideas and topics and guests.
Yes.
So
I think this was very educational. So
it's very educational. It is a sensitive subject. It is one that pisses me off. I don't know. I just
it does. Same with me. I could not imagine having to go through that.
If I was born me over there, it would work out.
No, I know.
It would
be a long time, to have to. I don't want to say go against everything that is part of me, but some of the things that I don't agree with.
Well, you are you. So they're trying to instill certain things
to figure that out.
To figure out that you are you, because they're trying to instill and make you go their way. And you're realizing, I don't agree with this. I have my own thoughts and feelings and opinions about this. And I'm entitled to make that choice. And so I don't know if she will start a Facebook page. I hope she does and gets it out there. She has to know people over there and starts and education and tell her story. There's no shame in her story. There is shame in it being done to her.
Yes.
And the way it was done and all that. But there is no shame in her story. And it takes one person to start that change. And I would gladly help in any way I could.
All right.
Yeah.
We're on it.
Dose. There's 2 now.
Dose. Yes.
Pascal makes 3.
There you go. And I'm sure her sister, that'll make 4. So there you have it.
So there you have it. So
always good talking to you.
You as well, my dear. You have a great rest of your night.
You too.
I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.